Hello, friends. My name is Betsy Markle, and I am in the Metabolism Mojo group. I am a registered dietitian, holistic nutritionist, health coach, all that beautiful stuff. And today I am sharing with you, kind of clarifying the confusing world of gluten. So I'm not sure, maybe question for you guys, whether you're watching live or whether you're watching later, just let me know if you guys pay attention to gluten. Okay, is it something that you think about? Are you gluten-free? Do you monitor it? Do you know if you have symptoms? Do you know if you're intolerant? And just know that there's just so many different variations out there, and I just want to help to make it a little bit more clear for you. So if you're questioning it at all, gluten, to be clear, is the sources are wheat, bran, bulgur, couscous, durum, kamut, spelt, semolina, triticale. You got it. So those are the main grains that it's in. It's a protein, gliadin, found in these grains. And therefore, it tends to be in a lot of baked goods. Gluten is in pretty much like breads and pastas and crackers and cereals, bagels, muffins, cakes, any baked good, it's going to be in there. Hi, Pat. Thanks for joining me today. Another thing, just because it's in barley, it's in beer as well. So that covers most of it. And luckily, we live in a society these days that has so much gluten-free things. Because I used to do a lot of gluten-free experimentation back in the day, and there was nothing. So we're lucky now. We've got a lot. So another thing to clarify is that oats. A lot of people ask me about oats, and oats technically does not have gluten in it, but it is usually cross-contaminated with gluten because it's made in a lot of the same factories. So there are special gluten-free factories, like Bob's Red Mill is one of them that carries gluten-free oats. So that would be the reason why some people are going to be more strict on that. And that kind of brings me to my next topic is celiac disease versus intolerance. So if we were to look at our whole society, that's about maybe 1% or less than 1% that has actual celiac disease. And celiac disease is the disease where you're allergic to gluten. And whenever you have it, you usually have a pretty bad side effect where it's going to be more diarrhea and GI upset, and people tend to lose weight and malabsorb, and it's kind of an ugly condition that we don't want to have. So if you have any of those kinds of symptoms, you would have to test for it. And the testing is more of a concrete test where you usually biopsy for it and you would know. So most of our society, and probably everyone I'm talking to today, you don't have celiac disease. You are wondering whether you have a gluten intolerance. So a gluten intolerance is more when you eat this food, is it causing some kind of inflammatory response in the belly and the whole GI tract? And that's going to be so many variations of a gluten intolerance. So some people might have just a very mild one, and then some people might have more of an extreme intolerance. And I'm going to be totally honest with you, it's hard to measure. If you want actual labs on it, it's really hard. So I used to work with an endocrinologist where she would test everybody, and it was through a saliva and stool test. So it was checking from mouth to anus to see if they had any kind of inflammatory markers, an IgA marker, from the eating gluten. And we just got a lot of false negatives. So it was one of those, a lot of people showed up negative, but then once we experimented with their diet, we found out that they were very intolerant to it. So the big deal is if your immune system is on overdrive because you eat gluten all the time, or even just you're not kind to your body and your immune system is not doing so well, it's always overstimulated because you have a lot of inflammation, then it just means that you can't really identify, that immune system's not working well enough to say, oh, you have a gluten intolerance. So it's going to be important that we kind of have a very big approach to this. And like with all of my clients is I work on how to calm down the adrenals and how to calm down the immune system so that everything's working well and that you can have more intuitive eating and know whether you have a reaction to foods or not. So if you are questioning it, I would recommend for almost all of my clients that we would do more of an experiment, okay? And it's usually like a 30-day experiment where you don't have it for a while and then you would add it back. So before I jump there, just want to kind of be clear, the symptoms for gluten intolerance, the most telltale symptoms are bloat. Okay, so you might have bloating. It can cause that bloating can lead to more kind of GI issues, whether it's more diarrhea or constipation. Some people it's even heartburn. Another telltale symptom is that you get sleepy after you eat. So you eat like a carb-laden meal and you're just kind of like, I want to take a nap. So that is very indicative too. And some people have more joint pain, some people more brain fog. And then all of these things can be just hindering the metabolism, which would make it hard to lose weight. So gluten intolerance is very like vague and it's hard to know. So truly, if you are even thinking about it and you're saying, I'm not sure if I need it or not, and dairy is another one where it's so questionable. And you know, when I worked with Dr. Schwartzbein, the endocrinologist who, I mean, I saw, I don't know, 500 to 1,000 patients there. And she made me get everybody off of gluten and dairy. Okay. I mean, absolutely everybody. She didn't care how you tested. Let's just experiment and let's just see. So I had a really cool opportunity to see how everyone felt off of it. And the consensus in my mind is that I'd say like 80-90% of people feel better when getting off gluten. So it's not that I think it's horrible and I don't think everybody should be off of gluten. I just feel like we should be more intuitive to know how we're feeling and not go overboard on it. Because gluten, when it comes down to it, is usually in a lot of processed foods. So it kind of just makes sense overall. And just to kind of leave you with a note of, I just don't want anyone that I work with, especially clients, to feel like they're on such a restrictive diet. Like, I want it to be fun. I want you to enjoy foods that you eat. And so nothing is totally off limits, but I do for certain clients who have certain issues, especially if it's more of an autoimmune disease, like rheumatoid arthritis or maybe PCOS or anything like that, Hashimoto's. I would definitely get those clients off gluten for a period of time. Anyone with just inflammatory issues, I'm going to get off, and I would only get them off for just a short period of time, and I would have a specific date, and we would kind of retest by re-experimenting by adding those foods back. So that's kind of the way I handle it. And then just overall with every single one of my clients, I just give them meal plans that they enjoy. And it's like kind of automatically an anti-inflammatory diet. So they are just enjoying it. They like it. They are, it's foods that they want to eat, that they agree to eat. They taste good. They look good. They're easy. They're simple. And they don't even really know that they're doing gluten-free or dairy-free. So that truly is the key, is to find those nice balanced meals that people enjoy and not just dwell on what you can't have. Instead, just provide them with things that they love. So as a whole, I hope this helps. I wanted just to have gluten be a little bit more clear for you that yes, it's unknown, but it's so worth the experiment to see if that's something that's hindering you from healing your metabolism, and just to create kind of good menu plans that don't have so much in it is just kind of a natural progression in the right direction. And as you know, I do this. This is my job. This is what I love to do. So if you need help with the menu plans, with calming down the immune system and calming down the adrenals, if you want to help kind of with the overall big picture to truly heal your metabolism the right way and do it in a way that feels good and is enjoyable and is truly long-term, then I hope I'm your girl. So again, I'm Betsy Markle with Metabolism Mojo. You guys have a wonderful day. Take care.